Sup dudes, this video was recommended to me by a friend on Twitter, and what I'd like to preface this with is asking a question, can you get addicted to something that you don't have access to? I don't believe so.
Or Tony. Tony, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Southern California, the Inland Empire, all over the Inland Empire. Moved around a lot as a kid.
Like Riverside, Santa Bernardino.
Riverside, San Bernardino, Fontana. Yeah. I spent a couple years in New Mexico.
Look at the hands fucking twitching already. Okay, not fucking a sex addict and alcoholic isn't the only type of addict this guy is, okay? Do you end up with face tattoos if the only substance you've ever used is alcohol? I kinda doubt it.
Ended up moving there when I was around 15, and I also traveled back and forth every summer. So have some roots in New Mexico as well.
What was your childhood like with your family?
My childhood was pretty good from the outside looking in. Had some things going on in my childhood that would eventually lead me to a sexual addiction, a drug addiction, an alcohol addiction.
Yeah, man. You have to have a bad childhood to end up wanting lots of sex all the time, for sure.
But these are things that I've done a pretty good job
The alcohol addiction, sure, but like being abused made you a coomer, dude? I kinda doubt that.
of keeping bottled up. In fact, some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today, I've never openly talked about with anybody. But from the outside looking in, it was good.
What was your relationship like with your mom and dad?
Mom and dad, quick backstory on them. They met while my father was locked up. My mom started writing.
Oh, so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, man. They met while his dad was locked up. Okay, how do you meet, how do you meet someone while he's locked up, man? Are they using prison pen pal shit, or was she a guard that he fucked? Like, this is the nonsense, man. You're supposed to work hard, you're supposed to be a good goy for society, and meanwhile, your tax dollars are going to keep this guy's dad fed and warm in the pen, and funnel women to him.
Letters. Once he got out, they got together at a young age, like 17.
Was this guy in prison at 17? Or did this guy's mother meet him at 17 while he was in prison? Jailbirds are getting 17-year-old girls while we slave away for nothing. This guy's 17-year-old girls hunting him. His father has 17-year-old girls hunting him down in prison. And they're gonna throw me in prison for sending flowers to a girl.
But they ended up divorcing when I was 1, so I never actually saw my parents together. But I've always had a great relationship with both of
How
them.
come there's nobody in the comments? I'll go through the comments later, but with Dr. Disrespect, okay, he's the most recent one. He allegedly responded to the messages of a 17.99-year-old viewer of his. Okay, and people have been calling him a pedo nonstop for the last month. There's not a single comment here talking about this guy's father's wife being a pedo. Like, jailbird fucks 17-year-old, no comment. Famous streamer responds to the message of someone that's 17 years old, pedophile, lynch him.
I always say that I grew up on both sides of the fence. Life with my father and life with my mother were two very different experiences.
How can it be when your mother is lusting after jailbirds before she's even legal in the entire United States? How can it be two different sides?
Which was your dad was the bad one?
My dad was
The devil on one shoulder.
Look at him fucking laughing about it. Your dad was the bad one. No, actually, probably the opposite. Probably his mother was the dumb bitch.
And your mom was the angel?
yeah, something like that. My dad was a great father, not to get that misunderstood, but I could get away with.
He was a great father. I was conceived on a conjugal visit from prison. He wasn't present for the first couple years of my life, and he impregnated my mother when she was underage.
With a lot more with my father. I
Excellent man, by the way. Top tier.
experienced a lot more with my father. My mother was was more strict. She monitored what I watched, what I listened to, where I
Case in point here, okay? You have these degenerate whore mothers that are running around fucking jailbirds when they're 17, and what do they do to their son? They try to cuck max him. They try to just buck break the fuck out of him to where he can't even have a life. She's gonna monitor what he's watching on TV while she's sneaking out underage to go to the prison for a late night romp. This is women for you, dude, and they have no problem having these double standards for men.
was. She knew my friends. She knew what I was doing at all times. Kind of tried to keep me in bubble wrap, so to speak.
How far did you go in school?
Say again?
How far did you go in school?
Graduated high school, never went to college. I joined the military right out of high school. I was in the Navy for 2.5 years. I was supposed to be in for 4, but I did 2.5 years
Stayed out of trouble
in the military.
in high school.
In high school, no. High school is where trouble started for me.
Yeah, high school's where trouble started. Let's listen to what sort of trouble he started to get into.
What did you get into?
A lot of partying, a lot of sex, a lot of.
Wow. Wow, man, that would have been a. I wish I got into some of that trouble when I was in high school. I wish I would have had a lot of partying and a lot of sex. Man, some of the problems these people fucking have. It reminds me of that cringe ass Green Day song from the early 2000s where it's like, rich people always complaining, maybe we should rob them. Maybe these normies, maybe they should just be like involuntarily locked in chastity cages. You know, you want to cry about your sex addiction and how having so much sex during high school was a problem for you. Maybe you should just have your cock locked up permanently.
Sleeping around, experiment with drugs, cocaine, ecstasy, Molly. Um,
How did he have money for these things while he was in high school? Hmm? Never. I take it his overbearing mother wasn't giving it to him. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and we just got started.
Growing up, most of the men that I was influenced by in my family all served a significant amount of time in prison.
Entire families in a cage. And you'll notice too the blind spot with this guy. He'll place absolutely zero responsibility on women at all. Because for whatever reason, these jailbird type dudes, like the same way they beat up on pedos, they also never hold women accountable for anything for some reason. Just doesn't matter to them.
Gang members, drug dealers. So
Wow, that's cool, dude. Some real role models.
at one point in my life, I thought that that was the route I wanted to take.
Oh, before or after you tattooed your whole head and neck
I thought that that's what I needed to
and hands.
be in order to be respected, in order to be a tough guy.
I mean, in the eyes of women, it basically is. When was the last time you seen a woman respect anyone that doesn't have a face tat? Look at the situation with that bad baby bitch that was on Dr. Phil. You know, she uploads a video of her getting smacked around while pregnant by her baby daddy, and then comes out immediately the next day and says, "No, you idiots, I'm not going to leave him. I uploaded this video to embarrass him and try to convince him to change."
So I dabbled in that area, never joined a gang, but
Never joined a gang, okay? I have a hard time believing that, man. Okay? Your entire bald head is covered in ink. This is what we can see, and you're gonna tell me that this guy has no gang tattoos? I call absolute bullshit.
I got into gang activity.
Okay, you got into gang activity, but you never joined a gang. Okay, this is the average IQ level of not only the people that women select, but the type of people that like normies select and give a big audience to. This is supposed to be inspiring and empowering. Yeah.
Stealing, breaking into places I shouldn't have been, fighting, things of that nature. Never went to prison.
Okay, so he got into gang activity, a pile of drug addictions, and never went to prison. And now maybe I'm starting to kind of believe the black guys that say that they're a little bit discriminated against because How do you do all this and never see the inside of a prison cell? You know, I got put in a prison cell for a period of time for a traffic infraction with my motorcycle. Now I was taken into custody for asking a girl out. This guy's running around attacking people, using every drug he can get his hands on, and breaking and entering into a million different places. And no, never been to prison. Never joined a gang either. Right, sure, buddy.
And then, so in your 20s, you did some time.
No. Never went to prison. I've been to jail. I've done some overnighters, but never went to prison.
Oh, I see. Okay. And then tell me about your 20s.
My 20s, 20s was wild. I was doing a lot of drugs. I was partying a lot. Kicked out of the Navy, and that had a lot to do with my sexual addiction and my alcohol
Oh damn, bro. They didn't want you operating the torpedoes while drunk. That sucks, dude.
intake. That got me kicked out of the military.
Don't forget, man. Salute. Salute, man. This guy served. He did time. Show him respect and shit.
Kind of just lost in my 20s. Didn't know who I was. Didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Bouncing around a lot from living situations to jobs. Just really trying to search for myself and trying to figure myself out. Getting through the addictions, but the addictions started at a much younger age.
What do you think the worst of your addictions were?
I would say the sexual addiction was the strongest one.
Yeah, well, maybe because it's not an addiction. Maybe because it's your fucking biological impulse. Okay? And this guy thinks he has it bad, man. He probably had opportunities to exercise it. He he takes his own. Are men addicted to oxygen? Are we addicted to drinking water? Are we addicted to food? I don't think you can really be any more addicted to those things than you are to having sex, man. Like, this is fucking crazy to me. Unless you're gonna pull out a story about how he had to have like electrified clamps on his nuts to get off or something. Like, how can you be addicted to it? It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm addicted to oxygen. I'm addicted to eating fucking Wendy's tendies. Yeah, man. Yeah, real addiction for sure.
But that is what brought in the drugs and the alcohol, and then it all was just intertwined. And there's two particular things in my childhood.
the, the sex addiction brought in the drugs and the alcohol. Yeah, because you're plying women with your access to drugs. Like, that's the thing that always blows my mind is that, like, people think drug dealers are just getting their kids addicted to fucking drugs. No, they're fucking your daughters too. And nobody does anything about it. Some douchebag running around the high school with Molly fucks any girl he wants to, and people think, oh, well, that's fair game. Don't you try and court one later on in life. This guy deserved them all for sure.
That I think brought me there, that amounted to that.
What do you think happened in your childhood that directed your life?
The first thing I would say, the foundation of a lot of my problems, a lot of my insecurities, a lot of I had a major wall built up at a young age. I had a stepfather came into my life when I was 3.
Yeah, okay. This is one of the few things that I'll sympathize with him a little bit so far. Like, women pick shit partners, okay? Do you think she picked any better guy than she did the first time around when she was, scouring the prison cells for a baby daddy at the ripe old age of 17? Yeah, probably not. Probably picked another piece of shit that's gonna, act accordingly. This guy's father was nice to him because he's his son. Okay? He's not nice to other men, guaranteed.
And he was a bully. He was abusive verbally and physically. He would always call me a little boy. Don't do that, little boy. He'd always point at me. Don't do that, little boy. Don't talk to me like that, little boy. And he would punch me square in my chest, push me down to the ground. He did this thing where he would pull my ear, and he would pull me all the way down to the ground, and then he would dig his knee into my side. And
A lot of this shit is like very homoerotic from these guys too. Like these stepdads that act like that, you know, like why are you even putting your hands on some kid at all? Okay, and let alone that like uh, I'm gonna push him to the ground. I'm gonna like very sus, odd behavior, man. I don't understand why you'd be doing that. And I don't understand why a mother would let this go on. Oh, wait, yes I do. She's attracted to him, so anything goes. Fantastic.
he would scold me that way, throw me around. But it was, what made it worse is that I had to walk on eggshells with him. There was times where he was really cool. There was times where he played the part well, the loving stepfather. But in any moment, that could change. And obviously had some issues of his
Yeah, because he plays the part in front of your mother so he can keep the fucking legs open. And then when she's not around, he treats you like the annoying little faggot you are. Your fucking felon number two's fucking crotch fruit, dude. Like, why the fuck would he want anything to do with you? And why aren't you putting any blame on your mother for this situation? She's the one that picked a guy that's in prison to have you with in the first place, so you don't have a father around. And then she picks another piece of shit for you to interact with. Meanwhile, my mama was an angel. Yeah, and you're a retard, dude.
own, and I was the one he took it out on. So at a young age, I became very insecure, very timid, didn't know how to make friends. It didn't help that I moved around a lot as a kid. I went to
In fact, I didn't get abused like this. I moved around a lot, and that's all it took. So I think he's misidentifying the shit here, okay? If anything, you get bullied at home like that by your stepdad, you're gonna be the bully at school, okay? You're gonna dominate other guys like that because it's better to you do it to them than they do it to you. Okay, it's far more likely that his social issues didn't come from getting bullied by his stepdad, but instead came from being constantly uprooted and having to start over with the social circle over and over again. I bet money on it. In fact, that's you'll see in the comments when we examine them after this that women absolutely love this like wounded bird game, okay? If he had just came out, if he had showed up to school with a black eye, okay, and all the girls are gossiping and whispering about it, and he just let it slip, my stepdad beat me up. Or my stepdad, I got in a fight with my stepdad, okay? Make it seem like you broke even with them. Uh, the women would eat it up.
a couple different elementary schools, 2 different middle schools, 3 different high schools. So making friends was always hard, and just didn't fit in as a young kid. Got bullied, got jumped on the way home from school, things like that.
I mean, a parent like that.
I don't believe this whole like getting jumped shit, man. Maybe this is just like polar bear hunting or knockout game sort of shit that happens when you live in a black area. You know, that's the other thing with a lot of this stuff too. Like these people are scared to address the like it. If you're gonna get in here, you're gonna tell these greasy ass stories. You don't be omitting details. Okay, we gotta know the racial dynamics that are at play here too. But people never want to touch on it.
That is so destructive for a kid's
It is.
self-worth.
It is. It is. Yeah, I must have felt like I couldn't do anything right. I remember growing up, I always had good ideas. I always had good thoughts. I always had good input,
I had good ideas. That's why I decided to ink my entire scalp. Sure, brother.
but I never let it out because I had no confidence as a kid whatsoever. It didn't help that I was getting bullied at home and at school. So as a young kid, I just completely shut down. And then things started to change for me around 15 years old. Once I was 15, the thing with my stepdad, that stopped around 13. I always wondered, you hear this often with kids that are abused at home. A lot of times you hear that they don't say anything, they don't speak up. And I think personally it's because either they're afraid of the outcome or they just don't know that their situation is a situation. If he was my stepfather since I was 3, and that was all I knew. So maybe I didn't necessarily know that I had a shitty stepfather until I got older. Once I was 13, I found
It's so weird to me how he interacts with his younger self as though he's like he wasn't him. Like, oh, how are you not able to put yourself in your own shoes and think about like what was going on? This is like some 80 IQ type shit. How are you guessing at what you thought when you were a kid? You don't remember? This is ridiculous to me. This guy doesn't look much older than I am, and I remember like pretty accurately how I felt about everything that was going on with me.
finally told my dad, and I think around this age I started to realize who my dad was. My dad was a thug. He was a tough guy, not to be messed with, and
Okay. Like this is what women like. Women like thug tough guys. Okay, and this is what the red pill misses. I don't know if it's intentional or otherwise, okay? Like, it doesn't matter how big of gym muscles you have if some guy like this is just gonna come along and like stick you with a shank or shoot you, okay? It's like that Sam Hyde clip where, the John Oliver shootout. Where you go, oh, you're an alpha male, I better back down. Bang, 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 bang. Like, that's the gym shit is nonsense, okay? Like you're coping with that stuff. If you like it, you enjoy it, cool man, good for you, but women don't give a fuck, okay? Women care about somebody's ability to inflict damage on other men, okay? And that is that can be accomplished in a myriad of ways that aren't like gym.
so I finally told my dad what was going on, and I don't remember if he called my stepdad personally or if he called my mother, but he said, "The next time you put your hands on my boy, I'm gonna fly to California and I'm gonna kill you."
point point blank. Okay? And this is also why like kind of also why women pick guys like this too. Because I can, on some level, I can understand it because in this world that we live in, what good is your word to protect anybody or do anything if you're not an actually dangerous person? You're basically impotent to act. You can't do and you won't do anything, and people can smell it on you. Okay, why do you think you have young women running around being whores, disrespecting their fathers, dragging their names through the mud? Because they don't fucking respect them at all. Do you think that if that guy had a daughter, his daughter would be running around being a whore? Probably not. Probably not, dudes. And if she is, she'd be far less of a whore than if she had some oofy doofy retard father that she didn't at least respect enough to like sneak around behind his back doing this sort of shit. Okay, she's just gonna do it in his face. She's gonna drag Aquarius from the football team over to her house after practice. And dad's gonna sit in the fucking living room and turn up his fucking sports balls so he can't hear her fucking gawking upstairs. Like, women are fucking retarded, but men have become super fucking retarded as well.
And that was when it finally stopped, the abuse from my stepfather. And then when I was 15,
So, you were abused by your stepfather from the age of 3 until 15 for 12 fucking years, and your mother never lifted a finger, and she's an angel. This whole situation was arranged, hand picked by her.
I decided to move out of California and go live with my father in New Mexico. I think I was ready to have my dad in my life every day. There was things that I needed to be taught. I needed to be taught how to defend myself, how to fight, how to.
Yeah, that's what you need to learn at 15 years old as a cracker. You gotta learn how to fight. And it sounds fucking retarded, but it's also true. Like, if I ever had a son, that kid's gonna be held back a year or two in grade school. Okay, so he has a genetic development advantage over the peers in his direct grade. He's going to be in some sort of a combat sport like boxing or Muay Thai or karate or something like that. No gay fucking Brazilian jiu-jitsu, okay? I want my boy to KO his assailants, not, butt scoot at them and try and get them to enter his guard while everybody looks at him like a fag. Okay? Uh, people people don't respect you if you can't, physically do damage. Like that's really all it comes down to. This is why manlets are so laughed at.
Work on a car, things that your father should teach you. And because when I was getting bullied in school and bullied at home, I wasn't a fighter, and I was more afraid to fight. I didn't want any issues. So when I was 15, I moved to New Mexico, Las Cruces, New Mexico, to live with my father. And at this time, I was a good boy. I was curious. I was always curious because my mother kept me from things. I wasn't allowed to see certain people in my family. I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, and I can relate to a mother that just fucking hides so much shit to the point that like, and a bad aspect of this too is like anytime that bitch needs like an out, she needs like an I got you card, okay? She knows that you don't know anything about all this shit and she'll just pull random factoids to derail whatever type of argument you're having at that particular second to her benefit. Okay? You'll be arguing about A and she'll pull random factoid about D out of her ass and just totally distract you. And it'll be brought out for like no reason and it'll be if not true plausible and you'll fixate on it because you've always had this like this nagging curiosity about whatever it is. And these women are like extremely gifted manipulators and you don't catch on to it. Some guys never catch on to it. Other guys, you gotta age and get some experience to where you realize what they're doing when you see the patterns of manipulation over and over and over again.
To stay the night with certain cousins. I wasn't allowed to cuss. I wasn't allowed to watch movies with sex or cussing. I wasn't allowed.
Yeah, and this is, there's a lot of talk about how everyone will admit that if you overly try and shelter a girl, she's gonna snap. A lot of us went to school with so-called like Catholic or church girls that were bigger whores than ones that didn't go to church. Uh, why all of a sudden when it comes to our sons do we think that turning them into good little worker bee faggots will not have any repercussions down the line?
Allowed to listen to music with cussing. And so I think that always made me curious for those things, So I was curious, but I was a good kid. I didn't get in a lot of trouble yet at this age. I was a virgin. I had no plans on having sex yet. My mother.
Oh no, dude. My mother wanted me to be a good buck broken retard. This guy doesn't realize that he's actually lucky. Okay, the life path that he took, like if this guy had listened to his mother and he had acted the way she wanted him to, he'd be swinging from a ceiling fan right now, man. No, instead he's in shape, he has clout, he has money, he's not a 30, 40-year-old virgin. He's on here like trying to again. It's like home math where yeah, man, I was a piece of shit. I was doing drugs. I was fucking teenage girls. I was partying. I was drinking, and you don't do that, yo. Peace. Like these guys are fucking dickheads, and the people that are trying to push this message, I have to believe on some level are aware of the nonsense that they're peddling.
Told me at a young age that if I had sex before marriage, I'd go to hell, and I believe that. It's
He shakes his head no when he says he when he's saying he believed that. Okay, I don't think he believed that at all.
what my mom told me, and I believed it. So
Why is doing whatever your retarded mother tells you a badge of honor for guys like this?
she put the fear of God in me, and I had no plans on having sex until marriage. But when I was 15, I was living with my dad, and this is when the second most significant thing in my childhood happened. We had a neighbor that lived next door, and there was like 4 young girls, a brother, a mom, and a dad. and they were all my age. We were all, 14, 15 years old, and we would play with these kids. We would go to the house all the time. We were always at the house. This is who we played with on the block, and we were curious kids. We would play truth or dare, stuff like that, make out in the closet, things like.
Yeah, I played Truth or Dare with this guy and his four sisters, and I'd make out with all of his sisters. Meanwhile, this is supposed to be like, does he look disappointed with himself here, or does this look like a covert flex? Okay, this is just he's just bragging, man.
That, but pretty innocent for the most part.
For the most part, and he fucking gulps. No, dude, you probably fucking railed them.
One day, I walked over to the house to see if anybody was home, knocked on the door, and the mother answered the door. And later on in life, I found out that she was actually an illegal immigrant. She barely spoke any English, but
Okay, so he was abusing his Just Be White card to run through all of the underage Latinas before Manuel could get anywhere near them. I'm not sure how I feel about this because I've experienced in the incel community a lot of Manuels that seem to have a penchant for trying to run through underage white girls. So, as much as I want to condemn him, maybe it's tick for tat.
enough to get through a conversation, but very choppy. And she said, nobody's home, but you can come inside and you can wait if you want until the kids get home. And that wasn't strange. I was at this house every day. The mother would cook dinner for us and stuff like that, so it wasn't strange. So I went inside, and as soon as I walk in the door, there's a couch to the right. So as soon as I come in, I sit down on the couch, and she says, why don't you come in my room and wait with me? So I said,
Okay, and people think this is we already know where this is going. Okay, he banged these people's fucking illegal immigrant mom. Okay, in a lot of these Latin cultures, a lot of non-white cultures, they see it as the responsibility of older women to train the young men on how to have sex so that they're not a disappointment for young women. They're so gynocentric that they molest boys so that the guys have experience when they're some other girl's first time. And I don't necessarily agree with this, but it's interesting to point out the difference in perspective. We do not have we do not have we have a very like weird system in and of ourselves looking from the outside looking in. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, the same way that we, cock an eyebrow at what's going on with this. A lot of people see how Whitey acts and are equally confused.
okay. So I got up and walked into the room with her, and she said, why don't you sit down on the bed with me? And at this moment, I realized that this is getting a little personal. So I remember my heart beating out of my chest. I was nervous. I knew something was off, but I was curious about it. And so I sat on the bed, and she turned on the TV, and it was a full-blown hardcore pornography film. And at this
Wait,
age,
wait a second. I was told that women don't watch porn. At least that's what the fine whores on Twitter would have me believe. This has to be some sort of a lie. This can't be true, can it?
I had seen magazines, Maxim magazines, Playboy magazines, but I've never seen a porno like this before. So she introduced me to that. She turned it on and just started.
Women using Jewish propaganda to just brain rape young white boys. An illegal immigrant knows how to give a young white boy the Gaza treatment where they just blare porn all over the television as a weapon of war. But somehow we're supposed to feel bad for her and not send her home.
Watching it with me. She asked me if I liked it. I said, yeah, I like it. And she said, why don't you lay down? So I laid down on the bed. She got down off her side of the bed, walked over to where I was, and she started massaging my shoulders, my chest, my legs. And then she stuck her hand down my pants and started to massage me. And she asked me if I liked it, and I said, yeah, I like it. And she pulled my dick out and she started giving me head.
Why? Why did he pivot like that? Okay, why did he fucking say she put her hand down my pants and started to massage me all innocently, and then pivot to yeah, then she pulled my dick out and started slobbing on that shit. Like, and we're supposed to believe that he was traumatized by this.
And that was the first time that I've ever felt that, ever experienced that. And I remember being extremely nervous, but I liked it. It felt great. And it was the first time I had experienced any of this. I wrote about this situation in a song. I want to share
I wrote about it in a song called Consuela Sucked My Dick. We need more Lemon Pledge.
the lyrics with you. Before I continue on with the story, I said I was 15, she was 36. I give to her my innocence. This
Bruh. And where is this woman, and where are the tough guys in the comments section saying that Consuela here should be put into a wood chipper feet first? Hmm? Or is that only for guys that dare look at a woman under the age of 35?
filthy bitch put a filthy flick, put her silky lips right on my dick.
Like, what the fuck? Dude, he just alternates, okay? He goes when one breath calls her a filthy bitch and the next says she has silky lips, dude. Okay, like this guy, he I don't know, it's he's trying to speak out against it. He's like Ilya Tapuria given that anti-bullying speech so he can get his suspension reduced, okay? He doesn't actually regret what he did. He must be getting like paid some crack rock money or something to give this PSA.
Admittedly, I was nervous. I never felt this. I like it. I love it. She fucked me. I'm ruined. She is selfish.
This guy's here's trying to fucking plug his cringe music. Okay? Like, and the thing with this shit is, man, is like he could have at any moment just fucking told Consuela no. Okay? Just fucking tell her no, man. Like, she cannot physically impose on you without like a weapon or some shit. Like, how how do you end up in this predicament where you're traumatized by this dude?
A rotted seed planted by the devil himself.
You're the devil. You planted your rotted seed in her mouth because you don't know how to use your mouth to vocalize the word no. N-O.
For this seed would grow like weeds, contaminate to oneself. Forbidden fruit, forbidden you, forget to spit out this pitiful. You bit the sweet deceit, discreet defeat is at your feet. Satisfaction, grasp it quicker than a New York minute. Stupid.
This guy he thinks he's the I got molested version of Eminem.
But you consumed up in it, switch or meet your doom within it. Hit your knees, hold crucifixes, too suspicious. Who can fix this? I'm a nuisance, plead forgiveness, hit my knees right after she did. And that's the only time that I've ever.
Wow, bro. That was fucking dope. I'm holding my lighter up right now, bros. You wish you could see this. Okay. Where's the crowd going? Oh shit! That cracker snapped.
Spoke on this situation. It's an older song. It's a song I put out when I first started making music. So a lot of people haven't even heard this song. But to get
How old are you now?
33,
So you carried this with you all these
33.
years.
yeah.
33, yo.
I think for a long time
33 and shit.
I just pretended like it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't until much later in life, and I'll get there in the story, that I realized, wow, I can't believe that I went through that and didn't think it was, a big deal. So she said, I don't have time right now. The kids and my husband will be home soon, but I want you to come back later tonight, and I'll let you in the back door,
What
and I'll
the
show
fuck?
you more. So I said, okay. So I came back that night. The husband was gone. He worked nights. The kids were all asleep, and she brought me in through the back door, and she showed me how to have sex. I lost my virginity to this woman. She was 21 years older than me.
How
She
do you
showed me
make
how to have sex. She showed me different
how
positions.
do
She
you make
showed
it to
me
the age of
how to
15 without
penetrate deeper.
understanding how
She
sex
showed
is?
me how to please her. I think that was her main objective,
Yeah,
to teach this young boy
yeah.
how to please me.
This
And
is like a normal thing, and it used to happen in
and
European families
I
as well.
became addicted to that
They would
feeling and everything I felt
get
that
their
day.
sons a hooker at a
Imagine
very
being
young
a
age
15-year-old boy,
so
good
that they
kid, a
weren't
virgin, hadn't seen
inexperienced
pornography yet or nothing like that, and
and they
all
could
in a
actually
matter of
please a
20
girl
minutes,
if
I'm
they ever
introduced to
got the
all of this.
opportunity.
And she opened up that door, for the devil to come in, and he didn't just come in quietly, he busted down the door and came in with friends. And so that was the start of my sexual addiction. I wanted that feeling all the time. I thought about sex all the time. I became addicted to pornography. I remember living at my dad's house. We didn't have internet. We didn't have Wi-Fi. I had a PSP, a PlayStation Portable, and you could use the internet on those things. We didn't have Wi-Fi, but the neighbor across the street did. So I would sneak out in the middle of the night, and I would sit in front of the neighbor's house and steal the Wi-Fi to download pornography. And even worse than that, we lived in the desert. There wasn't a lot in Las Cruces yet. It was a lot of just open desert. And when we were kids, we would walk through the desert looking for snakes and lizards and stuff. But I
You
started
found
to
a snake
find
next
porn
door, dude.
magazines scattered throughout the desert everywhere. And my only guess is that they were left behind from homeless people. And so after a while, I would stop looking for lizards and snakes, and I started going into the desert just to collect these magazines, and I'd bring them home and keep them. Dirty magazines left behind from homeless people, and I'd go looking for them and bring them home and keep them. That's crazy. So porn addiction,
I mean, I don't.
sexual addiction, and what I experienced that day was forbidden fruit, is the way that I like to explain it. She was married. She was 21 years older than me. She was the mother to my friends. And I had to sneak around, to have this relationship with her. So everything about it was forbidden. And so as my sexual addiction grew, it wasn't enough for me to just have sex with women. I wanted something forbidden. I wanted that chase. I wanted something I wasn't supposed to have. And that ruined a lot of relationships, a lot of friendships. I've slept with friends' girlfriends, friends' wives,
Oh, oh,
friends' sisters.
oh yeah. We're supposed. This guy wants you to feel bad for him, man. He wants you to feel bad that he was piping down every woman in the immediate vicinity. And the thing again, that's never explained with any of this, okay? He has the sex addiction, but how are all these women willing to go along with the debauchery? None of them have any morals, none of them have any scruples. They're all cool with banging this guy. Okay? How is it that women just go along with this?
Sisters of sisters, my sister's friends, a lot of married women.
Yeah, yeah. I fucked a whole bunch of married women, man. Feel bad for me. I fucked a whole bunch of guys' girlfriends. Okay, I'm such a bad dude. This is all just fucking like bragging, man. And the guy like pretending that this woman had to put on like she imposed on him. Okay, like nowhere does he say that she was unattractive and that like she really pressured him or anything. No, he just wants sympathy for being a scumbag.
Are forbidden relationships the only ones that interest you?
No, I wouldn't say the only ones, but it was definitely what made me feel that adrenaline.
And you know what? He made a whole bunch more guys like this, okay? Because every single girl I've ever like had anything with always got destroyed by another guy. And now I'm at the point where I don't take women seriously really. I don't think that I would ever, give my heart to a girl again. The only type of arrangement I'd ever be interested in anymore is being the guy on the side that's like fucking a girl behind another guy's back. Okay? Because I'm not the one that's going to be played for the fool again. Okay, that can be somebody else's problem, and he can, have my dick on his girl's lips. Okay, I'm not fucking, I'm never putting myself in a position again to be the one that gets played by a girl.
Adrenaline again, that adrenaline rush that I was searching for. I had regular relationships, but those ones made me feel different.
I was fucking everything in sight. And yeah, I mean I had normal relationships, but yeah, I like fucking other guys' girlfriends better. I'm a victim, by the way.
I think it somehow made me feel in control, or a sense of maybe revenge or empowerment. I was addicted to the chase, I guess you can say, and just having something I shouldn't have had. And then, like I said, the sexual addiction.
This is just 35 minutes of bragging. I fucked everybody's sister, I fucked everybody's mom, I fucked all my sister's girlfriends, I fucked your mom, I fucked your girlfriend. Like that's all this guy does. A victim though.
That started to introduce alcohol and drugs because it was all intertwined. Alcohol. I learned at an early age that alcohol broke down that wall for me. It gave me confidence. It gave me courage. It allowed me to be sociable. It allowed me to be funny. Everything that I wasn't before. I thought for many years, for a decade, I thought that alcohol was my friend. Alcohol made me into the person that I wanted.
Alcohol got your dick wet a lot better than I mean I've ever managed, dude. I think that not drinking alcohol has hurt me more than it's helped me. I'd rather be putting back a Mickey on the weekends than thinking of putting back a shotgun because I've never gotten my dick wet.
To be I thought I wanted to be, but I really just had a wall built up, and alcohol was not good. I've been in so many situations where, because I was the type of drinker that would black out. Most of the time I drank, I blacked out. I've
Because these people have no self-control. Okay, you can't you every any hole's a goal for this guy, and of course he drinks until he physically can't drink anymore. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad for you. I think that mind-altering substances are almost required to interact with the populace if you're a standard deviation above them. You have to dumb yourself down to enjoy it.
woken up in bed with women completely naked and not knowing how I got there.
Whoa. Getting laid is so easy for me, I don't even know how I done it.
That's happened many times. I've gotten into fights and broken people's property, punched holes in walls. A lot of anger would come out when I would drink, and
And nobody ever checked him? Like he just destroyed people's property, attacked people, fucked everybody's girlfriend, and nothing ever came of it, huh?
that was what led me to get kicked out of the military too. I joined the military right out of high school, and went to Thailand twice. And first time I went to Thailand, I had been drinking all day, and by the end of the night, I left the club with a female. I would assume she was a hooker of some sort. She wasn't from the ship. She was a Thai girl, and I left the club with her and went to another spot. The spot that she took me to was a two-story building, and the bottom floor was a bar, and the top floor was a whorehouse. And while everyone else on the ship was doing fun things like kayaking and rock climbing and stuff, this is what I was doing. I was chasing women.
Uh, I mean, you can kayak and rock climb in your own country. I mean, you can't see hookers legally in your own country, so that kind of makes sense. I guess from his perspective, that's a downside, but like, why the fuck wouldn't you be doing that if that's your prerogative? You can always do the other ones when you get back home.
Um, some of the story is a blur, but I remember enough to tell it. I remember drinking on the first floor with this woman, and I remember following her upstairs. And when I get upstairs, this is where I black out. Something must have happened. Something must have set me off, made me angry or scared. I remember being in a room, a small room.
angry or scared. Imagine, imagine seeing a guy covered in tattoos like this, fucking bald head. He's in the Navy and he gets scared. Okay, like, and you'll see the women in the comments eating up these little remarks, okay? Because for some reason, the women in the comments of this video view this guy as he's still that little 3-year-old getting bullied by his stepdad.
Room, and I was trying to get out of the room and I couldn't get out. The door was locked. I couldn't find a way out. And I remember just being in a complete rage. I was throwing things in the room. I was breaking things. I was punching holes in the wall. Couldn't get out of this room. Finally, I found a window and I busted out the window and stepped outside of the window. And now I'm on the roof. I'm on the roof of this building. And as I start walking across the roof to get away,
Why is alcohol legal when it makes people behave like this? Okay, as far as I'm concerned, you should have to have a license to consume this shit, okay? And if you act like this, if you have one or too many of these fucking incidences while intoxicated, you shouldn't be allowed to anymore because you're not in control of your faculties.
I fall through the roof. The entire roof just collapses, and I fall down to the first floor, and and then I black out again. And the next thing I remember being arrested by Thailand police and escorted back to the ship. And when I got to the ship, they sent me to medical. I was all scraped up and bruised.
Good. The first time in this asshole's life he ever had any repercussions for his actions. He had to be in a third world country where the police would actually do something.
And when I started to sober up, I told them right away. I said, I want to be drug tested. I want to know if I was drugged. I want to know what happened. And they wouldn't test me. They wouldn't drug test me. They just wrote me off as a drunk mess, and that's it.
You probably were. You already admit that you drink till you black out. You blacked out, buddy.
So it's still to
And it's probably for the best that they got you out of there.
this day, I don't know the details of
I wouldn't want this guy covering my six. I wouldn't want this guy maintaining my equipment. You know, this guy this guy is useful as like a minesweeper. That's about it.
that night. But chasing women and alcohol is what got me there. Luckily, the Navy didn't kick me out after that. They gave me
What the fuck? They didn't kick him out. Oh
a
man.
chance. They sent me to anger management through the military. They sent me to AA through the military. They put me on restriction. I was in the military for 2.5 years, and for 6 months of that time, I was on restriction. I was always in trouble because of alcohol. Restriction means I had a badge with a big R on it, and I couldn't leave the ship. It wouldn't matter if we were home in San Diego or if we were out in another country. I couldn't leave the ship. I had to stay on the ship, do extra duty, stuff like that. So after I did my anger management, my AA, all my restriction, a year later, we're back in Thailand again. And because I finished all my punishment, I was able to go off the ship, but I had to be back at a certain time this time. I didn't come back. I didn't come back to the ship.
This guy does not learn at all.
Found myself with women.
Found myself. Okay, he always has this depersonalization where it's like he's fucking playing his character of life as like a third person like RPG and he's not actually it. Such fucking odd way to look at things. I don't understand. I found myself. You had no control, dude?
Again, Thai women. This time, I got a hotel room with some friends, and we brought a handful of hookers to the hotel room and had a big orgy.
I think that this is actually how a lot of the armed forces even function. Okay, like I think that this is stuff that's just kind of swept under the rug, not really acknowledged. I think that they constantly port or dock, like all these places where prostitution is legal, specifically so the guys can get their rocks off, because the military has to know on some level that men are not functional when you just have all of your urges completely unfulfilled.
Recorded it all. That video is probably floating around.
And these niggas are also gay, okay? Like, If there's more than one guy in the room, it's gay. Okay? Like, what is wrong with you people?
around somewhere, I don't know. And I was supposed to be back on the ship, and I stayed out. So when I finally did return to the ship, they had enough with me, and this was what finally sent me home. So I got kicked out of the military. And when I went home from the military, I finally decided that I wanted to settle down. I finally decided that I wanted to be with one woman and
I'll just pick one from my harem of dumb whores. I'll just pick one, guys. That'll fix it.
try to relax, stop the drinking, stop all that. And I got slapped in the face. I met a girl at a restaurant I was working at, and any relationship that I had ever been in prior to the relationship I'm in now started with sex. All my relationships started with sex. That's how they started.
Yeah, and let's hear how this one started.
So I met this girl at a restaurant. We were working together. We started hooking up,
Yeah, so this one started with sex too.
and we were together 7 months. She got pregnant, and I was looking forward to being a father. I was ready to settle down. I was going to use this as something to be responsible for, and to have a bigger purpose in life than
He's a fucking fry cook knocking up his coworker and he wants to bring a kid into the world. That's what's gonna fix him having a kid. Surely it won't just end up a war to the state for inkwells to pay for through taxation.
just party and sex. So we told the whole family. Everybody was in tune with what was going on. We were going to have a baby.
And their family is okay with him having a kid while he's a fucking fry cook. Okay, if I was working some wage cook job and I told my parents would be telling me like my entire family would be like, "Are you sure? I think you should abort it."
And we had some issues. As a matter of fact, right before she got pregnant, we had broke up just for a short amount of time. And in that time, I was already sleeping with other women. And
Right before she got pregnant. She probably got pregnant by somebody else while you were on break, dude.
she found out, so that was really hard for her to accept.
No, it wasn't, because she got knocked up by somebody else.
She calls me up one night when she's pregnant and we're expecting the baby, and she says, "I'm getting an abortion tomorrow morning, and there's nothing
Good. She's smarter than this guy's mother was.
you can do about it." And that was the last time that I ever seen or heard from her. So, slap in the face. I finally tried to settle down and do that whole thing, and it didn't work. So then that's
Sucks, bro. You can tell by how jittery he got during this interaction here that that's the first time that he's the one that ever got his feelings hurt by a woman. Imagine that every time, you fucking dickhead. And now you might start to understand why nobody that's watching this video will have sympathy for you. My video, that is. You've got a bunch of fucking dumb whores in your comments that are very fond of you.
that's when I started doing drugs. That's when I started doing cocaine, Molly, ecstasy, partying. Stopped working for months.
I got rejected by a girl once after having an unlimited amount of sex, and this is a girl that I banged for 7 months. Then that's when I had to cope. Okay, a lot of these guys are just fucking big babies, man. They unironically could not hack it in the incel life for 2 weeks.
Slept on my mom's couch. I was a bum, and the sexual addiction grew stronger. I at this time I got into like meeting women on social media.
Sleeping on my mom's couch, sniffing coke, banging every woman that I message on social media. Yeah, that was a bum. Meanwhile, red pillars will tell you you gotta put in the work. Did this guy put in the work?
And I would even meet women that lived out of state, out of California, and I would get them to fly to California just to be with me for the
Women will fly to California to bang a cokehead that lives on his mom's couch, but you're supposed to work for one.
weekend. And that was my thing. I found enjoyment in that, just partying and sex, drugs, alcohol. I was lost for a long time. My mom would come home from work and I'd have a woman on the couch. My mom would come home from being gone for the weekend and find me in her bed with another woman.
Yeah, and women don't care about this at all. Okay, meanwhile, I'm supposed to leave my mom's basement. I'm supposed to work hard if I want a girl. Meanwhile, look at what's going on with this guy. I don't know about you guys. I watching stuff like this and seeing my sister go through it firsthand. These guys that have never had a job, my mom being cool with it, but somehow I'm supposed to get a job. I don't think so. I think that if I get a job, it's going to be because it's a job that I want to work, not 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 because, I need one as some aspect of my manhood.
It's that's disgusting. It's disrespectful.
None of the women you were with seemed to think it was disgusting or disrespectful. And again, he'll criticize himself, but he won't criticize any of these women. How many women do you think were complicit in giving this scumbag pussy? And not a word of criticism for any of them.
You know, and that's the behavior I was doing. Um, and then my mom finally had enough of that. She kicked me out, and I went to go live with my
I shot a hot load all over my mom's fucking bedroom pillow and then she kicked me out, yo. Damn it, I'm so unlucky.
dad. At this time, he's not in New Mexico anymore. He's now in Apple Valley, California. So I went to go live with my father. And at this time in my life, I, again, was trying to clean up. I was trying to be sober. I was trying to stay away from women. And, throughout all this,
I was trying to stay away from women. They were probably they see the 50 red flags all over the sky and fucking latch onto them like Alien the movie face suckers, okay? Like they just fucking they leap at him and lock their legs around his neck.
I've never seen a counselor. I've never talked to a therapist, nothing. I've tackled this on my own my entire life, just
Yeah, you tackled it on your own, all right. Oh yeah. What a struggle, man.
between me and God. I believe in God. I pray a lot. I was raised in church.
I
So,
believe in God. I was raised in church. That I was doing Hail Marys where I fucked a bunch of guys' wives. This sort of shit is why people don't respect Christianity. This sort of behavior, okay? Uh, there is too much asking for forgiveness instead of permission with the church shit. Okay, it seems to just be a congregation of ne'er-do-well fuck-ups that all come together after they've destroyed their lives to ask for forgiveness. And on some level, I can understand the usefulness of it because if you have all these people that have been doing bad their entire lives, even if they are going to hell, okay, it's better to have them believe that, Jesus forgives everything and it's never too late to turn your life around because otherwise people will just keep doing nasty shit the rest of their life because why not? They're already going to pay the ultimate price for it in the end.
so that's something, that my mom put in my life at a young age. And it's just been me and God the whole way, just a lot of prayer.
Ask you guys this. How many married women do you have to fuck behind their husbands' backs or behind their boyfriends' backs before you realize it was wrong, guys? For me, it's zero. I've had the opportunity and I actually turned it down. But, you know, uh, my stepdaddy grabbed my ear once. That means I get to fuck your wife, according to this guy.
A lot of trial and error, a lot of failure. Um, but I never gave up on myself. At this time, I started to have this voice in my head, and God was telling me,
Uh,
I have something special for you, but you have to get clean. You have to be sober, and you have to stop chasing women.
I. If God talks to people in their head, he hasn't talked to me yet, and I hear all sorts of things in my head.
And that voice was so strong, man. Every time that I'd go out and do my thing, the next morning when I woke up hungover, I heard that voice. You got to stop. I have something for you. I have something special for you, but you got to stop. You got to get clean. And I battled with that for years. And then I met a woman who's my wife now, and
Yeah, so this guy gets a wife to bail him out of his sex addiction and all this other shit. What do any of us get but more fucking headaches, more problems, and more burdens? This is why, like, I don't see God as this nice guy. I believe in a creator, but I think he's kind of a fucking dickhead, man. Like, he'll give all of this to guys like this, man. He'll give everything to them. And what has he done to earn it? He put in the work, okay? He got kicked out of the Navy, he fucked around on a boat for 2 years, and he flipped burgers in a kitchen. And that's the work that he put in. Oh, he graduated high school too, let's not forget. That's the work that he put in to fuck untold numbers of people's significant others and get a wife.
She was the most pure woman I've ever met.
He gets a pure woman after defiling hundreds of them.
She was good. She was not
He gets a good pure woman after having his dick fucking his dick in every orifice of 50 Thai hookers.
like any other woman that I had ever had a relationship with, and I knew that right away. And I knew that this was part of,
Mr. fucking scalp tattoos gets a good pure woman.
what God was telling me. And for the first time in my life, I was, I guess you could say, forced to fall in love with a woman without sex. My wife was a virgin when I met her. And
This is who's getting the virgins, man. And again, it's just a whole complete flex. I fucked hundreds of people. I fucked girlfriends. I fucked wives. I fucked hookers. Now I get to fuck my virgin wife. You mad, incel?
and
Yeah, I am. I'm fucking pissed. And the idea that I have to work harder than this piece of shit for something, this whole society can fuck off and gargle my nuts.
I had no intentions on taking that from her. So we were in a relationship, and we fell in love, and we built a friendship, and that was the first time I ever experienced that. So 10 years after this woman showed me how to love sexually, I meet another woman who shows me how to love without sex, and I needed that. That was what changed a lot for me. And my wife, she came into my life and she helped me with my sobriety. She helped me clean
Gets him sober, wipes his little ass for him.
myself up, and now we're married. We've been together 9 years. We're married. We have a 5-year-old boy. I've been
He gets a son too. He gets a son out of the deal.
sober from drugs for 5 years.
They've been married for 9 years. He's been sober for five. His son's 5 years old. He conceived his son with her, and she kept the baby while he was still fucking doing drugs, man.
I'm still on my journey with alcohol.
Okay, so we're sober with drugs, but we're still a drunk. Great. We're still on our journey. We're approaching her. He married at 26. Met her at 26. They've been married for 9 years. That would put him at least 35, probably about 40. He's been battling alcohol for 2.5 decades. I'm sure he'll clean up soon.
I've I make it to like a year sober, and then I have a relapse, at least once a year. It's been that way for the past 5 years, but I could honestly say I haven't been drunk in 5 years,
And he gulps. His thing is
but
lying.
I slip up, and I'm still
Uh,
on that journey. But I do plan on living a sober life.
this doesn't make any sense, dude, okay? Like, you say you haven't been drunk, but if you haven't been drunk, then you've been sober even if you drank. And what would the purpose of drinking be if to not feel the effects of the alcohol and get drunk? Like, these are what this guy is he's a liar, okay? He's a liar and he knows how to spin tall tales and he looks like a piece of shit that women love. Okay, that's where his success comes from. Not because God never talked to this guy. Maybe he did. I really doubt it. Okay, this is a story that he tells people. This is ultimate wounded bird bad boy game. Women just eat this shit up, and if he cleaned up tomorrow, if he went and got all his tattoos lasered off, he quit cold turkey and everything, his retarded bitch virgin wife, allegedly, she would immediately get bored of this fixer-up project that she has and go find another piece of shit to give a son to.
Life from alcohol, And you know, this year I'm picking myself up and making that attempt again. But somewhere in there where I met my wife and I
This guy's the New Year's meme. I'm totally gonna get sober this year.
and I did get clean. At one point in my life, I was completely sober for 2 years. And during that time is when I found my passion and my talent for music, for writing music. I'm a hip hop artist.
This nigga's a hip hop artist that nobody's ever heard of. Is she funding his life too? Like seriously, like where the can this guy's gravy train get any sweeter?
Independent hip hop artist. I've been making music for 5 years. As soon as my son was born, and I
As soon as my son was born, I laid off the liquor a little bit and I started jotting down the beats, man. And one day I'm gonna make it big.
found myself
This is your idea of getting serious. You have a son in the world, and what are you gonna do? I'm gonna be a rapper, bro.
through sobriety and through prayer. Um,
I'm, I'm gonna pray for some sick bars, yo.
I just, prior to when my son was born, I had never wrote music. I had never tried to be an artist myself. I mean, nothing at all. You could ask people who I grew up with, people from school, never at all. And once I was sober and my son was born, rhymes just started coming through my head. My mind was filled with rhymes all the time. All the time I was rhyming in my head, rhyming in my head. And, um, and I started to pay attention to it. And then one night I was laying in bed, I couldn't sleep, and I had these rhymes in my head. I pulled out my phone and I started writing my notes. And at that moment, I realized that God put something special in me that I couldn't see for years.
Okay, bro, your bars, you're not gonna get anywhere. That's not what rap is anymore. People like cringe mumble rap now, okay? And they like nigs like Kenny Lamar and Drakus, okay, beefing back and forth until one of them ends up 6 feet deep, okay? They don't care about your lyrical wordsmithing, okay? That era has passed.
You know, most artists, most successful artists, hip hop artists, you hear their story, they've been doing it since they were 15, 16, 20. It was never like that for me, and I realize now is because I was distracted. I couldn't see anything in front of me because I was distracted. I was chasing women. I was drunk. I was on drugs. And as soon as
Yeah, man, successful hip hop artists are never drunk, they're never on drugs, and they're never chasing women. Like, does this guy fucking hear himself?
I let all that go, I found what was inside me. And I'm a phenomenal artist. I have a special way with words, with lyricism, storytelling. And I believe I have a future ahead of me in music, and I'm right in the middle of it.
He believes he has a future ahead of him. That means he's not yet made a dollar doing his music. Hmm. Don't worry though. When he's flipping burgers at his next job, you might get a mixtape in your fucking Happy Meal.
Right now. And I would have never found that if I didn't find sobriety, if I didn't let go of my addictions, if I didn't break that wall down naturally, because alcohol broke that wall down, but I had to break that wall down on my own.
How were you emotionally when you were going through that period?
Whoa, I forgot. I forgot that this video even has like the host or the narrator. He sat back and listened to this guy bullshit for 20 minutes straight. That's how this guy gets women, man. The fact that he could just bullshit for 20 minutes without even so much as flinching, okay? Women are retarded and will fall for that.
Oh,
Between being a young teen and then meeting your wife?
like throughout the entire process,
The sex addiction, the alcoholism.
emotionally,
I mean, it sounds like fun for a lot of people, right?
yes,
Yeah, it does. So why are we supposed to feel bad for you? And you can tell, like, you can almost hear a little bit of like spite in the interviewer's voice. I wish you'd lean into this angle more.
yes, that's a great point. You know, there's people that will listen to the story and say, you know, 36-year-old woman at 15, that sounds like a great time. But for me, I always wanted better for myself, and I
I wanted better for myself. I didn't want an old bitch when I was 15.
knew that these things were toxic. Um, And I hope
You know what else is toxic? All the fucking ink you pumped into your skin that's now accumulating in your lymph nodes.
that I can be an inspiration and a message to other young men, especially
Yo, you're an inspiration in the absolute worst ways, you fucking dickhead.
today, because in the world we live in today, sex is everywhere and it's accessible.
Notice how it's always these guys that have had their fill of sex telling you not to care about it and that it's not the most important thing. There's something to pay attention to there.
When I was 15, I had to go out and find a porn magazine or watch a porn on TV, but today
Or fuck my friend's mother.
it's on your phone. Just pick it up, it's right there. Right there in your reach.
For little kids too.
For little kids too, yeah. And I would like to be that message to let young men know that it's toxic. It might seem enjoyable, it might seem, I think that was part of my problem through all my addictions.
And notice he's not living a celibate life. Okay, he's telling young men to not care about sex while he defiled an untold number of women and then took a fresh one for himself. But you're not supposed to care about it. I'm not supposed to care about it. It's no big deal.
Was, why should I not have this if I enjoy it? I enjoy it, why should I not have it? But sometimes things that we enjoy are toxic for us.
I hope one of the guys whose wives he fucked tracks him down after this interview and caves his head in with like a fucking rock hammer or a shovel.
And sexual addiction is very toxic, especially pornography. At a young age, it gives you a false reality of what a real relationship should be like.
A real relation, is it a false reality though? Because you've had far more real realities with women having porn type relationships with them than you did your virgin trad waifu that for some reason went for a tatted up degenerate goon.
Takes away from your natural confidence and your perception on what life really should be like and what a relationship should be like. And I had friends throughout my entire life that did the things I did and were totally okay with it. That was their lifestyle. But for me, I was always different. I always had this voice inside me that said, you need to do better. This is not
That was always different. No, dude, you really weren't.
good for you. You need to do better. And and when I finally listened to that voice and I let go of all these toxic things in my life, I found my passion in life. I found out that I could write music. I mean, I can't stress enough how
Okay, declaring that you can write music is great, okay? But if it's for an audience of one, are you really a musician?
incredible. When I realized how talented I was with writing music, it was emotional. I cried. I
Can this guy fucking stop like tooting his own horn? His little rap was not that impressive.
couldn't believe it. Coming from a kid with no confidence, a kid who would never step on a stage and tell his story, or sit behind in front of a camera and tell his story. I was never great at anything. I wasn't great at sports. I wasn't great at anything. I was just mediocre my whole life. And when I realized how well I could put words together and how well I could write music and rap, it was incredible. It was like I found a hidden gem inside me. And
Yeah, let's see how incredible it is when you have to pay child support after your wife leaves you, or when your son wants tuition for college or a Camaro. We'll see.
now, hindsight, I know that it was always there because I was always infatuated with rap music, with music.
Infatuated. I'm a lyrical wordsmith, motherfucker.
I was always infatuated with lyricism,
He says it again, infatuated.
and
There's no C in infatuated, bro.
I would study artists and I would study their story and I would watch their documentaries, and I was much more into music than anybody around me. So it makes sense now. Now it makes sense. And at an early age, I would write little poems for my mom, stuff like that. And now it makes sense. It was always there. It was always there, but I couldn't see it. And
It's almost like the sex addiction was just a distraction that kept you from finding it.
absolutely, absolutely. Yep. That overpowered anything else that was in my life. I was chasing that adrenaline rush, that feeling that made me feel good. Coming from a child who was abused at home, bullied at school, no confidence, to now being able to please women, because that
Being for to now being able to please women, okay? Do you think a kid that was actually bullied at school would have been simultaneously a sex addict fucking people's wives and girlfriends? Like, these are mutually exclusive ideas. The things that get you bullied at school preclude you from having access to women. You're not going to have them. So it's one or the other. One of these things is a lie.
was the thing for me. I didn't. It wasn't that I needed to be pleased. I wanted to please the woman. That was that, and that's what she taught me. You know. And so through my sex addiction, it was about me pleasing a woman. I want to make you feel like you've never felt before. And that made me feel some type of way.
Tony, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in all of this?
It's it's always been me versus me. You know, I could blame it on my stepdad, I could blame it on her, but it's always been me versus me. I always had the angel on my shoulder. I always had that voice in the back of my head. I always had the desire to want to do better. And I was fighting myself the entire time.
This guy is not doing better. He's not making any money with his new life goal, okay? He's got a 5-year-old. He's not sober. The only thing that's better in his life is he's married to a woman that other guys haven't fucked after he fucked a bunch of other guys' women.
I was fighting myself the
Like, I've never seen a better example of why the just world fallacy is total bullshit than this fucking prick right here.
entire time. And you just have to reach a point where you're done beating yourself up, and you have to take control. You got to sit in the driver's seat, and you have to take control
This guy never beat himself up once. He beat up other guys' wives' pussy, and that's it.
and find a way to be disciplined. Find a way to be the one in control, because it's you versus you.
Discipline, dude, you're still not sober.
Your situations in your life may affect you, and they may cause you to do these things, but you're in the driver's seat the whole time. The whole time. It's nobody else's fault but yours. It's in nobody's hands but yours.
That's easy to say when you've had all the pussy in the world, bro. Okay? You never felt like it was somebody else in the driver's seat keeping you from happiness, but I assure you, for a lot of us, that is the case.
And if I could do it, anybody can do it. And I'm certainly not against therapy or having a counselor or anything like that, but I've never had one.
For therapy to work for me, I would need to just like have a guy like this be my therapist, and my therapy is beating him with a pool noodle, with a bamboo stick in the middle of it for like an hour until my arms want to fall off. Then okay, man, see you next week.
Never had one. It was always me and prayer and just battling myself. And I got through it.
I want to paddle this guy. That would be my therapy. Paddle him with a pool noodle viciously.
I'm happy now. I'm sober. I have a
You're not sober though. This guy thinks because he quit doing drugs that being an alcoholic is fine and he's sober. Like, this is your brain on normie.
beautiful wife, a beautiful son. I live a good life. And this life, as fun as that life sounded, all the women, all the partying, did I enjoy it during the time? Of course I did.
Yo, so he admits it is fun.
But I'm so much happier now. I'm happier now. I'm complete. And I'll take this life over that life any day.
Excellent story.
Thank you.
And how the thing is a zero sum game. How many lives did this guy destroy before he gets to, his good life that everybody's supposed to have? In the way that he acted ensured that 50, 100, 500, 1,000 men, who knows the actual number, are never going to have what he got.
Tony, thank you so much for sharing it.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck with your music.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck, faggot. Fuck that prick, man. Look at these comments. Responding to sexual stimulation as a child is nothing to be ashamed of. The shame belongs to the perpetrator. I'm glad Tony is no longer identifying himself with it. 1.4 million, 1.4 thousand likes for saying, yeah, okay, getting your dick stroked by your friend's mom when you could have just said no. Okay, a 15-year-old boy is not a child. I know I wasn't when I was 15. I had several teachers I would have loved to stroke my dick with their silky lips, and it never happened. And I definitely would not have been damaged had it occurred. This fucking falling for his nonsense, man. It's so massive that he realizes what that woman did is abuse. So many males tell this story as bragging rights. That's because that's what it is. I love how many men are speaking up about sexual abuse and rape because it happens to men too. Let's see what sort of women are here supporting him. Yeah, Paula Hillman. Probably a tranny, to be honest, but yeah, great. You got raped so hard you trooned out. This gentleman is so sincere. He fucking is not, man. He's like a used car salesman with his mannerisms. When his voice cracked slightly when he was talking about being a little boy. Okay, let's see Judy Roberts. Okay, we've got a fucking pregnant white bitch with a husband. Can we zoom in? Can we enhance? Okay, I thought he looked black for a minute. He looked kind of dark in the picture. We've got a pregnant dog mom, cat lady bitch here, ignoring her partner who's not pictured in her profile, to comment, "I wish I could give him a hug." Yeah, my wife was a virgin when I met her, and I had no intentions of taking that from her. Bud, from a mother to a grown son, you're a good man in spite of the bad things that happened. No, he's not. He's a piece of shit. Celeste thinks he's a good man. Celeste is a retarded bitch. Respect to this guy that has accountability of his actions. No, he doesn't have accountability of his actions. He can't undo the damage he did. I was molested several times as a child. When I got older, the sex addiction took over. These are all just like kind of normal looking soon to be Karens responding to this. What a brave young man. Yes, such a brave young man to say that I got my dick sucked when I was 15. This woman is a predator. Okay, look at how she's fucking sniffing that Thai kid. Okay, what the fuck is going on here? Oh no, yeah. Don't say like, guys. Just fuck people's wives, but don't say like. That's what makes a good person. I started bawling when he started speaking his lyrics. Holy shit. Yes. Too deep for me. Tony seems like such a sweet guy, says Missy. Blockhead bitch. Yeah. No criticism. No criticism for the action of his parents. No criticism for how he ran through so many women. Everybody just pretending that this guy is a hero instead of somebody that in ages gone past would have been strung up in front of the town. Yeah, the society is fucking cooked, dudes.